Well, hello, welcome back to Brambleberry. Working on the chicken coop a little bit more today, and I think I'm gonna work on getting a structure built for a roof. So if you want to see the progress on that, then stick around. So I need to put a roof on this thing. I could just throw a tarp over it and be done with it, but I gotta overcomplicate things. So in the meantime, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna build this roof. I have sometimes had a mind to just put some strips across here, screw them down into that metal, and then put metal roof on top of that. The problem I see with that is that this structure needs to be able to hold my weight at least, so that I can get up there and I can screw down the metal roofing. So I don't think that's going to be good enough. I think I do need to put some 2x4s up there. I don't think I need to put a lot, but I do need to build some sort of support system. All that I've got so far will give me, a fair amount of support. It just has to hold me for the time that I put the roof on. And after that, I don't think it's really going to have to hold a whole lot of weight. We don't get like stupid amounts of snow regularly here, so I don't really have to worry about that. And then the other thing that I got to consider too, since I haven't talked about this in a while, but I had a mind to build this with passive solar design principles, which is probably pretty silly for me to try to do, but I do need to get an overhang over on this side of the coop that's going to shade these windows properly in the summertime and let the sun in the wintertime. So otherwise, why did I even bother putting in the windows? Because then it would, anyway, you get the idea. If you've watched any of the videos on this thing, I've been all over the place when it comes to deciding what to do, but it's just trucking along. Problem is I want to get some chickens, and I can't get chickens until this is done. So we need to get it done. So I just got to do something. So the quickest, easiest thing to do would be to just lay some boards flat like that, measure out what I need, zip some screws in, and that might be okay. The problem is, structurally speaking, in my experience and limited knowledge, if you're going to build rafters for a roof, the 2x4 needs to go like this, because there's more strength there. See, there's more wood. And it would be nice to notch this out so it sits down on there neatly. The question is, do I want to go to all that trouble? Because after all, it is just a chicken coop. And then up there, I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to cut, get all my angles and all that good stuff. Got some figuring to do. Well, I don't know much, but what I do know is that from the face of this window out, I need this overhang to be about 5¼ inches in order for this thing to work passive solar-y. That's not really a word, but I guess it is now because I just said it. So I know that, but I think for the supports on the roof, I am going to turn the 2x4s up on their end. But I'm going to do it down on the end here where it's easy to reach everything right now and make, so I get all my angles and my cuts right, and then I'll just reproduce some and hope that it's close enough. This thing is, of course, wonky, so I don't know if it'll be exact, but it should be close enough to make it work. So this board here is going to be turned up on its end like that, and I'll have to put some sort of a support out here down to that, I guess, in the middle. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, and then there'll be another 2x4 that goes across the top like this that they'll all attach to. So what I need to do is figure out the angle on this so that it can sit flush on that. This end part here, I'll have to notch out so that it sits down on that properly. I'm not so concerned about the overhang at this moment because these are plenty long to get that amount of an overhang. On that side, it doesn't matter because that's the north-facing side. This is the south. So this overhang is probably going to be shorter, and I'll probably do that one out there longer. But the main thing I got to do is get that angle and get this notch figured out. And then I can come later after I've got them all up there and cut this off to whatever it needs to be. So I'm already seeing some issues. So my original intent with this, when I started this project, was that I was going to just like strap boards to this somehow, like attach them. And now I'm not really doing that. I mean, I did a little bit, but not for the roof. So when I figured the height of this wall, I did it so that this would basically be flush, which it is, but now I'm not doing that. And so if I want to notch this out, if I notch this out and set it down on there, I don't think this wall height's gonna work, which means I should probably put another 2x4 along here so that I can notch it out and have it sit straight down, which means that the siding that I put on is not gonna go all the way up, but it's under an overhang, so do I really care? I don't know. It's just a chicken coop. But I've got to overcomplicate things as always. And then my other thought is, do I even need to notch it? You know, if I was an actual framer, I probably would know the answer to all these questions. But since I'm not, I'm having to figure it out by trial and error. So what I want to do is get the angle up here so that I can cut that off. And then come down here and notch this. But it's kind of like a chicken or the egg scenario where when you do one, it's going to change the other. So I don't know which one to do first. Or if I really even need to do... Well, I know the top one I need to do so that I can screw it into a board going across there. But like I said, I don't even know if I need to do that on the bottom. I could just set it down on there and toenail it in with some nails, get some straps. I mean, they make like straps for that kind of stuff. Anyway, you all are done probably with me thinking out loud. So how about I figure this out and then I just show you the final product. Well, it is the next day and I did some guessing and some cutting and made some mistakes and decided to finally use math to my advantage. So I did some figuring and some angles and all that good stuff. And I think I finally got my cuts figured out. And long story short, I'm gonna actually make rafters. I guess they're called rafters with all the cutouts as they should be and make this thing kind of legit for the roof. I won't bore you with all that and all the measurements and stuff, but I'll give you a look at it whenever I get it all cut and start assembling it. Okay, I got a bunch of the pieces cut and I need to start assembling all this. And there's some challenges because the building's not square. Part of it's made with pallets, part of it's not. You know, I kind of did myself in for all that, but you know, whatever. It's just a chicken coop. So anyway, I'm going to show you kind of some of the challenges I've had here. And then I'm going to start to put this together. I don't know how much of this I'm going to get on video because I want to get it done. And shooting video, unfortunately, takes a lot of time from me working on this. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's show you what I'm doing. So I got 3 rafters. Yeah, naturally in construction, you should not have them spaced out far apart, but I don't really care for a chicken coop. I'm going to have 3 on each side, and I'm going to have I guess it's called a ridge plate maybe going across the top. Don't know about the terminology there. The problem I have is that this is pretty much square. This down here though is not, as you can see. Oh, and I added some extra top plates on there to attach these things to, as I said earlier that I may have to. I think what happened here is I wasn't paying attention and I got this top board a little bit longer than that one, but now it's all hooked together. I don't really care. So what I have to do though is I have to make these rafters a little bit longer, like this middle one a little bit longer than that one, and this end one here a little bit longer than that. I already kind of got this one ready. The only one I have left to do is that middle one, but I'm going to try to get everything pretty much up there so that I can guesstimate how or where to put this notch in the rafter. So my plan right now, and this is kind of a challenge because I'm doing this on my own here, is I'm going to take the ridge plate and I'm going to attach it to these three on this side, and I'm going to push the whole thing up and go from there. I may try and push it down the other side to try and, the problem here is I can get to this part here on this end to do some nailing or screwing or however I attach these, but the middle section I cannot because I can't go out there with this in the way. In hindsight, I have overcomplicated this, which I've already said multiple times, and I think if I had this to do over again, I would build this coop that I'm building now freestanding and just have the run attached to the front of it. So, but that's not where we are. I would have an easier time doing what I'm doing now if that were the case, but here we are and we're doing it like this. So, gotta stay the course. So, looks fairly straight across there. This is, of course, sagging down a bit because it doesn't have any support. When I get this piece on, then that'll push that up. And actually, all those pieces are going to push this up so that it's not laying down on the actual run there. Well, that was fun. I thought to get the length on these, since they're all different, that I would put my level up there and then take this and push it up until the bubble is level. Problem is, the coop's not level. I don't know if you'll be able to see this in the video or not, but we'll try. It's obviously not level now. All right. Pushing it up. Now it's level, but as you can hopefully tell, it's not level with the coop. To be level with the coop, I need to go up here, and then it's way unlevel. So the question is do I make it actually level, or do I make it even with the top of the coop? It might look kind of funky if it's not even with the top of the coop, if we're looking from aesthetics. If I make it even with the top of it, then the rain is going to go, it probably won't go to one side, it'll still go down the grooves. So I may just eyeball this one and be done with it. Yeah, let's do that. So this particular rafter is the last rafter I'm going to put on the end there. And it's cut, I think, close to what it's going to be. But this one, I still have to notch out. So I'm gonna use this one as my guide to see where or how long I need to make this middle one. If I can get this set up there correctly. All right, got everything centered. I'm gonna push it up, eyeball it across there more or less. And now I'm gonna measure how far back I need to come. It's like 2.5 inches. So then I'll go over there and I'll cut one of these out, but I'll make it 2.5 inches shorter. And then that should be the right length for this middle one. And then we'll have to put the end one on and see how it comes out, if I guessed correctly. Hopefully I made it a little too long, and then I can just trim it back some. And there we are. I don't have it nailed up at the top yet, but I do have it tacked down here. And it looks like it's fairly close. A little low down on this end, but that is okay. And as you can see, I made this one too long too, but that is okay. So I just got to measure my gap there and then trim the end. And then this one should fit fine too. That one down there, also it slipped down a little bit. I didn't notice when I nailed it. So I need to push this up. And then when I do that, I think that'll take this little bit, how it's sagging a little bit out. And there we are with the roof framing. More or less. I still got to put some more nails in here or there, much like everything else, but it's up there. And it is Sunday, so I am needing to head out and go back to church this evening. So I'm tired of mucking around in the mud out here today anyway, but I am glad to at least get that part of it figured out. That's been bugging me the last couple of days. So anyway, if you watch this long, I always thank you for watching, and I hope you have a very blessed day. As I was running around putting up tools here, I got to thinking about that last statement about being tired of mucking around in the mud. You know, from a spiritual standpoint, it makes sense for me to be tired of mucking in the mud and going to spend some time focusing my mind on spiritual things instead of being around. Not that being out here and working on my homestead is bad, but sometimes you just need to focus yourself on things that are bigger than you and more important than you, to put things into perspective. So for whatever that's worth, if you're tired of mucking around, I suggest that you do the same. Have a good one.